because they are definitely at it again, and they're trying to sue Vermont over a GMO labeling law.
The state of Vermont.
The state of Vermont.
All right, that is ballsy.
So, you know me. I don't read the stories. I just kind of look at the headlines and make up my own assumptions about what they're talking about.
I read the story and
hope Mike had it. But I guess Vermont is one of the few states that actually has made labeling laws that have to tell you if the food is GMO, if it's natural or whatever. And Monsanto has decided that they're going to take them to court and sue them for this. Now, do they have the right to do that?
I'm not a judge or a lawyer.
Well, because of the bill that was passed hidden in the
Farm bill?
The farm bill from last year, which Monsanto helped write.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess they do have the ability to do that, and they're going to be going to court, and we'll find out what happens. But yeah, I find it very interesting. I mean, if this suit passes, if they are able to sue the state of Vermont, I mean, what's that say about what we have to look forward to?
It's a case to watch, because here you're talking about states' rights, a pure, issue of the people, government, that really local government states' rights issue, running smack dab into this huge 1%er, Occupy Wall Street evil. I mean, this is the evil corporation. And so, and really, I mean, they couldn't have picked, Vermont, you're talking about the greenest, most hippie state. This is actually a fascinating story. I wish I had started listening to you a little bit earlier.
I wish you had read the story, actually, because I didn't. I saw the headline. But here's the thing, though. There's issues where they've been using genetically modified feed for animals, and what's happening is they show out that it's deteriorating the insides of these animals, of these farm animals. And now, is that what we're going to be eating? And don't we have the right to be able to make that choice as, people? Forget citizens. I don't care if you're an American or European or whatever. You should have the right to decide whether you want to eat GMO foods or you want to eat all natural foods.
You should, but Monsanto is such a huge corporation that at this point you don't, per se. I mean,
you don't know.
You're eating that anyway, whether or not you're opposed to it, unless you're buying like strictly local, organic. If you're that specific with your diet, you're probably eating.
So enter, though, the state of Vermont, who has essentially taken a page out of the FDA's playbook as far as publishing on labels what's going into the food that you're eating. This is just another step in what's been happening over, I don't know, whatever it is, the last 100 years or so with these FDA guidelines and nutritional values. The question becomes, what does Monsanto have to hide? Why do they object so much to full disclosure about what's going into people's bodies?
Because obviously what they're doing is dangerous.
Exactly.
Exagrious.
So we agree.
Yes.
It's not going to be much of a debate.
I mean, and really there's a lot hinging on this, because if this suit passes and they are able to sue the state of Vermont, I think it's for like $15.
That's all that they could scrape together.
It's a low level. That's all Vermont could come up with.
Yeah.
And some heroin, I think.
$15, some mushrooms, and a bag of weed.
They're big on heroin these days, from what I.
Oh yeah,
everybody's big on heroin these days.
Vermont especially.
I'm surprised. I mean, heroin seems so Donnie Brasco.
Yeah, it seems unnecessary up in Vermont, like you said, with all the mushrooms and great weed.
I have a question for you. Do you think cows eat their own mushrooms?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
I mean, that would explain a lot.
If you had the ability, if you could put your shit in the backyard and grow psychedelic mushrooms,
I would totally eat it.
Of course you would.
So the cows, I think that explains a lot about
also
the life of a cow.
They're just cows. Their standards are
I think
much
if they
lower.
weren't eating so much mushrooms.
Are you sure about that?
I think the cow could possibly be the fastest animal, like faster than the cheetah, but they're tripping all the time.
That's because of the pizzle. Have you seen the size of an cow pizzle? You wouldn't be able to run with that thing, I guarantee you.
Not tripping on mushrooms, that's for sure.
So did you have another point on Monsanto?
On Monsanto? Count of Monte Santo?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to say it right.
Sorry.
No, I mean, I can't even say it.
So
because
where is this case right now? Is it at a federal court or still, where are they having this thing?
they're having this thing at the local Stop and Shop located on Route 99. That's Brattleboro, Vermont.
I'm sorry, they only have Whole Foods in Vermont, so that's inaccurate.
You know what?
Trader Joe's, actually.
Trader
They
Joe's.
also
I'm
have
sorry.
Trader Joe's.
Stop and Shop, Trader Joe's, same thing. Why you got to be so specific with everything?
All right.
Because you make up a lot of things on the spot.
I
so
make
I
up
just
a
have
lot
to
of
check.
You've been very
Wait,
upfront.
why do you
about
have
it.
to? Why do you have to try to verify everything I say? You know, most of it is complete
She's
bullshit.
got the story
Because-
pulled up on her lap.
Oh, you have. All right, so you tell me where it's happening, Miss Laptop.
Dave, if nobody challenges you on your facts, can you imagine the society we would live in?
I gave up a long time ago. He's got his own magazine, people. Leader of the movement over here.
Is there going to be a sources cited page at the end of this next magazine?
No. Why would I do something stupid like that?
That would just be extra writing, extra fiction we'd have to come up with.
Now I have to make up sources too.
You know what? Speaking of the magazine, let's. You got a week in weed for us?
Do I have a week in weed? Pff, boy, do I ever.
Let's hear it. Let's do it.
Well, this week in the week in weed, what I found to be the most interesting story this week is that they are in the process of creating a pot breathalyzer.
I read something about that.
It's that I
It's all
guess
about the headlines.
they're working something in Canada. They've been working on it.
Forget it then. It's not going to work.
But
you guys
and the-
dismiss Canada
and the guys,
so quickly.
the guys, who wouldn't?
Their
Wait.
government grows weed.
What is your grandfather Canadian or something?
No,
And their
but I
government
just don't
grows
understand the hostility. Is it anything outside of hockey? Is there any reason that you don't like Canada?
Outside of hockey,
Hockey actually is the only
there's a-
reason I like Canada.
There's a lot of reasons besides hockey.
All right, let's
Which
hear
is
it.
kind of a joke.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to all of our
Canadian
Canadian listeners.
But
Mounties?
why? I'm
the
curious.
Mountie. What kind of enforcement officer
So, all right.
is that?
So, what do you think about this breathalyzer that they're developing?
I think it's poppycock.
Do you
breathalyzer.
really?
Yeah, because they still don't know how it's going to work. What they're saying is that this is going to test the amount of THC instead of the CBD.
In your lungs, yeah.
And I don't think they have the. If they tested me, if they gave me a breathalyzer and I hadn't smoked for like a week, I would blow it off the charts.
you.
It doesn't matter.
Thank you. You actually just made the point that I wanted to make. And I actually am in favor, believe it or not, of them developing a breathalyzer if it can work.
If it can work.
Because here's the thing. Right now, the only thing they have is blood, hair, urine,
Saliva.
saliva.
Yep.
But there's no way of knowing if you get a positive result from that. It could have been anything from yesterday to a month ago that you smoked. So if you get pulled over right now and they want to try to make a case that you're under the influence right now, you run the risk of having something that is going to produce essentially a false positive, being the condemning evidence against you. So if they can work out these bugs in this breathalyzer and they can narrow it down to say a 2 or 3 hour window, I actually would rather that than having them draw blood.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. I just don't think they have the technology to do that. I'd love to see it work.
Well, that's just. I think we've all been burned by Canadian technology.
Why don't you think Canada has the technology to do that?
It's Canada. We just discussed that.
So, would you like to ask Japan to possibly develop
Yes.
something?
I would
Is that what
rather
you're
see
saying?
Japan do
or
it.
Germany?
Or Germany.
They are engineering phenomena.
That's what I'm saying. But it's those two or us. But Canada. I mean, Canada is probably how many countries are there on the planet? Like I don't know, 300.
I don't know.
I would want
Maybe-
Ghana. I would want Ghana working on this before Canada.
I just don't. I think it's all hockey based. I think all
No,
this hostility
You
is
like
hockey
to think
based.
that. There's a lot about Canada. that I
Why?
don't
What?
like.
I
why
like the
is-
Edmonton Oilers. There, I said it.
I do like the
On air,
Edmonton
folks.
Oilers too. I actually went the one time I went to Canada was for the Stanley Cup when Edmonton was in it back in 2000 whatever.
I remember that.
Yeah. And so first vacation I ever took that I came home early. I went to the airport and I was like, "Get me the hell out of here."
And they were like, "We get that a lot."
And you weren't in New Jersey.
No, I wasn't in New Jersey. Actually, I like going to New Jersey. Me and Snooki had a little hookup
Yeah,
that we did down there.
that's-
Yeah.
So maybe this is Canada's thing. Maybe they're the ones who are going to start developing things in.
If I
God,
became
I
president of the
forgot.
United
Why not?
States,
Why not?
Because curling. Because curling.
Yeah,
That's
curling,
why not.
Come
stupid.
on.
The last time we gave Canada the ball, they came up with curling.
We need to invade Canada and just make them part of the U.S.
I'm pretty sure that's not the
We
top of
should
the priority
have done
list.
that during the Revolutionary War. This is what I've been saying. There was a question at that time: shouldn't we just go take Canada? And I
Manifest destiny, man.
Yep.
Manifest
Why?
destiny.
Why
north-south
would
as
you-
well as east-west.
Why would you want Canada?
There's a lot of farmland up there that's being wasted.
Half the country is inhabitable.
I'd rather
It is
Canada than
uninhabitable.
Mexico. Wouldn't you rather Canada than Mexico?
Pick
To
one.
visit or
Pick one.
to
To
invade?
invade. To own.
annex.
To own. We have to pick Canada or Mexico.
I don't want Canada. I don't know.
So you want Mexico?
You want
I'd
Mexico.
rather have Mexico than Canada.
Wow.
I didn't see that coming.
Why?
I didn't either.
Why not?
Why would you want Mexico?
Why would you want Canada?
Because at least in Canada they have
Hockey?
mushrooms and hockey.
It's so cold. What are you talking about?
don't
Only
need to
like
live there.
7 or 8 months out of the year. The rest of the time, it's only like kind of cold.
It is very cold, but it stays light out until like 1 in the morning.
That's way up.
It's
That's
not
way
that far up. Believe
I
it.
saw that movie with Al
Have you
Pacino.
really?
Yes, really. I've been there. I've done it, and that's why I left. I couldn't sleep in Canada.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
I had a
Rather
two-week
than-
bender.
rather
So
than
which
having
side are
Canada-
you on? Because I'm
See,
getting
that's the
mixed
thing.
signals.
It's impossible to argue with you. We have our own Canada, by the way. It's called Alaska. Have
Or
Who the
Maine.
hell goes to Alaska?
All right then.
We
All
also
right.
have Maine.
Yeah, but I mean,
And I mean, we've got Minnesota, we've got North Dakota. They all talk like Canadians.
They do, eh?
I kind of don't trust people from North Dakota because of it. Is that wrong to say?
no, that's,
Hey,
it's prejudice. But
they sound like
before
Canadians.
before we derail this anymore, wasn't there a story that you had?
Wait, no,
about
we're
a-
still in the week and weed. I've got it.
I know, but when we're,
You
this
got
has
a-
to do
oh,
with
you got a
the
marijuana
weed.
story.
You had a
This is the beginning.
marijuana related story.
By
So
all means.
just today, actually, the state of New York finally agreed on a medical marijuana program.
Yeah. Well, what is it? What does that entail? What are they going to do for us?
They're gonna allow it for people with debilitating diseases. So it's very, from what I understand, it's very heavily regulated, as a
It
lot
should
of,
be. It
a lot
should
of
be.
things are in New York.
Hey, New York, 2003 called. They want their progressive cause back.
But Governor Andrew Cuomo has actually been very kind of difficult on the issue. I mean, New York is a Democratic state.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Wow. The last I checked, they were like so red.
But they just want to regulate everything.
Right.
Absolutely everything.
Well, marijuana, especially medical marijuana, should be regulated. They have to regulate it.
Right, and so the state health department is going to be overseeing that program. And they actually included in the bill, they included what they call a fail-safe provision, so that they can basically pull the plug on the program at any time. And it's pretty much just to, keep the governor happy.
I cannot figure out the state of New York. I really can't.
It's confusing.
They don't have guns. They don't have gay marriage. They don't have medical marijuana.
Well, now that they legalize medical marijuana, usually leads to the gay rights allowing of gay marriage.
And teen pregnancy. So
I think they already have that.
coming
Pretty
soon
sure that's covered.
to a borough near you.
Brought to you by Slender Man.
All right. Oh my goodness. I don't have any Slender Man murders.
No, did you have something
Well, I
about
got
the
the
weekend?
update. I've got the
Oh,
update.
we have the update from Spock.
Yeah. So people who are just joining us, we've got a Colorado correspondent. We've got a man on the street. He's been a friend of 13 Folds Radio
Since the
day
beginning,
one.
yeah.
And he's been giving us weekly updates. Whatever's going on in the Mile High State, Spock on Colorado has been Johnny on the spot for us. And
Johnny on the Spock.
we don't have he usually does a live call-in. We don't have the live call-in set up right now. So he sent me an email this past week. And I got to take my hat off to the guy. All right. He's living in one of 2 states where it's legal to buy, smoke, own, whatever with marijuana. And he's continuing the fight. He went into a legal dispensary store, whatever they're calling them out there now, to buy some weed, and he noticed that there wasn't a lot of edibles. And that rubbed him the wrong way, which again, like, dude, talk about, that is that American spirit. Like, you finally got the ability to smoke weed, and what do? You want to eat weed. Like, we're never
happy, man.
satisfied. So this cat is pushing the boundaries. He talked to the owner, and the owner gave him some rigmarole about, where state law meets local law and local law enforcement sets guidelines or whatever.
Well, how can you eat your bull penis without your chocolate weed brown?